right, so welcome to this episode of Mopar Mike's Garage. Today we're going to introduce you to the one, the only, the OG, the original Bighorn, the one that kind of started it all for me. So I bought this truck when I was 15. And started working on it since. And then as I got into college, it was just a half-ton, four-wheel drive, 318, regular cab long bed. And so I got into college. I wanted to do a 3/4 ton axle swap on it, and then kind of spiraled into, while I'm in here, I'm going to do some other work and paint the frame and all kinds of other stuff and lift it. And as I started disassembling the front doghouse, I found a lot of stacks of shims and ended up finding out that it was in a bad accident when it was basically brand new. And the frame was tweaked and pulled apart and actually in really rough shape, and I should not have been driving it the way I was driving it for, at that time, the past probably 7 years. So then I set out, I was gonna just find a 3/4 ton frame, and I started having thoughts of, well, you know, you're on the verge of getting married and looking at a family, so maybe you should get a crew cab. And I'd fallen in love with a few crew cab long beds that I had seen. So I picked up the 77 crew cab long bed. Down in Madison. That was sketchy at best to drive home, but it was fun. Pretty cool, but obviously all those factory are just two-wheel drives. So the plan was to convert it to four-wheel drive, or I shouldn't say was. The plan is to convert it to four-wheel drive. So I actually got the Jungle Gym four-wheel drive parts to swap it over to the longer Chevy springs for a smoother ride, because I didn't want to go bags and all that. I wanted to keep it kind of the classic look with leaf springs and everything. You know, keep it a true truck. So I sold the box off and I put the original Bighorn box on. The cab was pretty rough. So you can see the original Bighorn box. It's got the roll bar and the KC lights still intact for the most part. Now you might be looking and you're like, well, what's with the extended cab in the back? And so basically, as I started falling in love and with the idea of a crew cab, and I was like, man, you know what would be really cool, and I've seen a few of them done, is a mega crew cab. And I got a screaming deal on basically a parts truck that was rough, and I sold enough parts that were left out of it to cover my expenses for the truck. So I kept the back half of the cab because the front half of the cab was pretty rough, to made them together and make a mega crew cab out of it. So that's where that train of thought went to. As you can see, I got some new floor pans hanging out in here, a 4-wheel drive tunnel that I got off of a guy. Spare core support, because from that accident I found out my core support was actually wrinkled up on the passenger side and probably part of my misalignment. I've got rockers that need to go on because she needs a little love. That's for sure. So yeah, this is hanging out in the garage where I started. The first spot I started doing all this crazy stuff here was it right in here. But we got her gutted pretty well down, pretty well stripped. Here's the original Bighorn cab, still hanging out. Eventually I'll take the dash out of that and put it in there, because in this application, just because I want it to be, you know, still slightly resemble my first truck, I want to keep the 93 dash. I've got the original motor out of it. The 318, fuel injected 318 hanging out there. You can see on the other workbench there is my rear end, my Dana 60. I don't know where my kingpin is, floating around here somewhere in my front end. That might be in the box actually. And then I've got 518 trans and transfer case sitting here. Not sure what direction I'm gonna go for engine wise. I've got a 440 block sitting over there. Might make it 440 powered, otherwise I'm toying with a newer Hemi. For this one, I'm not gonna do a diesel swap because I don't want to say it's played out, but that's what a lot of them do. And I don't know, sometimes I like to be different. But yeah, so this is it. This is the beast in all her glory here. Let's see this roll bar here with the 5x7s on it. I actually designed that and had a friend build that while I was in college. It's a bonsai blue. I think PC3 is the color code. But that's the legacy right there. So yeah, humble beginnings here, and everything's kind of crammed over in the corner of the garage because the old man's car was actually in here with it too. And this thing's so long that I couldn't put it to the other side. As I mean, right now, just tip to tail, it's 21 feet. And I want to, you know, add like another 18 inches to it. So she's gonna be a boat, a bus. But it'll look really cool on the back of the load 'em up truck going to a show, that's for sure. So yeah, I've got everything kind of just crammed in there. My doors, I could really use a new driver's side rear door. The one I got was caved in and full of Bondo. Passenger side's repairable, but this is it. This is the start of hopefully something great here. So next video, what we'll be doing is bringing this one home. That's the goal, is make some room in the Quonset and drag this baby home. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge, and I'll have to enlist the help of a friend, but yeah, I've got basically still got almost all the parts except for the wheels and tires off of the original truck, which were the 5-bolt turbines. Because I'm going to an 8-bolt setup, obviously. But there's parts that are spread all over. They're in the attic, they're in the cab, in the bed, hanging from the ceiling. And it's upside down, but that aluminum casting is similar to the power wagon of the 70s and the bird bath hood, but I actually carved one out of like basswood and cast it in my foundry class in high school out of aluminum and polished it and painted it. So that was a great project. So you got flares and the grill hanging out here, just doing its thing. So all kinds of good stuff. But yeah, humble beginnings here in this little 24 by 24 garage. But like I said, we'll get home to the shed and have a little more room to actually blow this sucker apart and start working on the cab and get a drivetrain under it. That'll be sweet. So yeah, that's the introduction to the Bighorn here, and I'll drop a few pics and videos in here as we go. But this is the one that started it all. This is where it came from. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.